Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another video of the Key Stories. In today's video, we will react to what people say about the question, what's a civilization ending scenario that most people aren't aware of? While I play Minecraft in the background. And I bet you will like that one of these comments surprises you. A slow burn collapse is much more likely than a single major event to cause something major. At what someone answered. You're absolutely right. It's not going to be a single event. It'll be multiple systems failing at once, several minor crises converging like a rogue wave. Crop failure leads to political unrest while there happens to be a particularly incompetent leader in charge, which leads to war, which leads to a limited nuclear strike. Meanwhile, an earthquake strikes, and then there's a fuel shortage. After that, a minor solar flare knocks out electrical systems for only a few days, but it's at a really inopportune time. It won't look like a world-ending event. It will be a gradual decline in living standards over years or generations. The Romans experienced a near civilization-ending crisis in the 3rd century due to multiple destabilizing events hitting around the same time. War, plague, inflation, political breakdown, famine. But it didn't happen overnight. It was slow. It took years for the system to collapse. It also took years and multiple leaders to diagnose and remedy the problems, but they did get there. As a kid, I learned that if a gamma ray burst is coming right at us, we really can't do anything about it. We just get fried. Kept me up for a few nights. And what someone answered. If it's any consolation, if a GRB were to hit the Earth, we wouldn't really know until it did. It would all be over in a matter of seconds if you're on the right side of the planet, in minutes at most on the non-facing side. Corn virus. 20% of human civilization's calories, right there. And what someone answered. As someone allergic to corn, I'm surprised it's only 20%. 90% of the grocery store is off limits. Peak phosphorus. https://en.m.wikipedia.org/wiki/peak_phosphorus. It's an important resource for production of fertilizer, and dwindling supplies could have a significant impact on global food security. Maybe an exaggeration to say that it would end civilization, but it could be a contributing factor to a cascade of problems that have a devastating impact on modern civilization. The aliens finally coming back to harvest their livestock of humans. Edit. My first comment to get over 1K. Thanks all. Solar flare knocking out electric grids. Not only restarting them from a black start is highly complicated. If the transformers are fried, there aren't enough replacements, and to manufacture more we need, you guessed it, electricity. The estimations are that a solar flare on the level of Carrington event, which happened not 2 centuries ago, would cause trillions in damages and set back civilization for decades. Has there already been a story that has surprised you? If so, leave me a like. The possible breakdown of the Atlantic Gulf Stream, edited to AMOC collapse. And what someone answered. Americans don't typically realize that Ibiza, Spain, and the French Riviera are at about the same latitude as New York. Half of France and Germany and all of Britain are above the latitude of Maine. The Gulf of Mexico, plus the Caribbean Sea, is the space heater that makes Northern Europe habitable. Conversely, Northern Europe, plus the Arctic, is the air conditioner that keeps the sea life of the Caribbean from dying of heat and low oxygen. The last thing we really want on this side of the world is identical temperatures in Algeria and North Carolina, France and Maine, England and Quebec. Your mum cannonballing into the sea, creating 900-foot tsunamis in all directions. A former reality television star decided to drop nukes in a mutually assured destruction scenario because someone made fun of his ridiculous spray tan. Vogon constructor fleet. At what someone answered. As long as they don't start reading poetry, we might have a shot. The disappearance of bees. At what someone answered. I just started a new colony last week, if that makes you feel any better. Remember that if you like these stories, you can subscribe and activate the bell so that every time a new chapter is uploaded, you know that you can take a look at it. Grey goo. A successfully created self-replicating nanobot that can consume biomass could trigger a chain reaction in which most of the planet is quickly consumed. At what someone answered. Essentially Horizon, Zero Dawn, but less animal robots and more mass extinction. Cultural victories are a little arcane in how they work, so people avoid them in lieu of conquest or diplomatic victories. At what someone answered. It's not that complex. Just mass-produce rock bands. Big volcanic eruption. Winter for a couple of years. So very cold in winter and still snowing in summer. No food. Energy shortages. Massive refugee streams to less affected areas. Etc. Not killing all humans, but certainly this civilization. Small but realistic chance. At what someone answered. Was reading about the Yellowstone caldera a couple years ago, and was interested to read that estimates are that the ashes alone would be heavy enough to collapse buildings in nearby states. There's a fear that the trend of human body temp decreasing over time will expose us to more rates of fatal fungal infections. Most people are now less than 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. At what someone answered. That's like a reverse of The Last of Us. And, before continuing, as you already know, I do not accept donations of any kind since it seems unfair not to give anything in return. So, if you do like these content, please share it with your friends and family so I can continue making this content for you to enjoy. False vacuum decay. that our universe is not in fact in a stable state, but a metastable one where a transition from one to the other wipes the universe clean with zero ability to see it coming. Blink. Reality is gone on a universal scale. You thought you were important, or your family and city, country even. The planet that you're familiar with, the moon in the night sky, the midday sun, the wider galaxy and our expanding electromagnetic shell telegraphing our location and history. Blink. Gone. Every star and every galaxy, every bit of space in between and beyond. All gone. Just like that. Flip. At what someone answered. My question is, what about parts of the universe that has already expanded faster than the speed of light? We have parts of the universe we will never, ever see since the universe has expanded so much. Can the false vacuum reach there? I'm not a physicist, so maybe this is a dumb question. Showing your continent to the Spanish. At what someone answered. Well, no one would expect that. That Yellowstone caldera erupting would mess stuff up pretty bad. Don't die from being in the blast zone, and you'll just die slowly from starvation as the ash would block the sun for a while, killing all crops. At what someone answered. Phlegri fields in Italy are just as bad and in a more densely populated area. Gamma ray burst. Supervolcano. Magnetic pole shift. At what someone answered. Doesn't the shift occur over the time span of several millennia, instead of an overnight thing? Since the Industrial Revolution began over 200 years ago, our oceans have absorbed around 1/3 of all CO2 released from fossil fuel. Put another way, humans have transformed the chemistry of the ocean. The average acidity of seawater has increased by 30% due to our activities. We are at a tipping point. Soon our oceans will be so acidic that they will break down the shells of crustaceans like clams, oysters, lobsters, crabs, etc. At that point, the ocean food chain will collapse very quickly. At what someone answered. To add to this change is bringing about the acidification of our oceans, which has the potential to wipe out the phytoplankton that create nearly half of all the oxygen present in our atmosphere. Scary stuff. So, this is all for today's topic. Thank you for being the key part of the Key Stories family. Until next time, keep your eyes wide open, your mind sharp, and your hearts curious, because adventure awaits. And for more adventures, check our top amazing videos on the screen right now.